A hearty welcome from the team at Gradeup. A very good afternoon from the team at Gradeup friends. Hello everyone and a very warm and a hearty welcome from the team at Gradeup. So friends, today we start with a special series called Revision Classes. In the couple of classes that we are going to conduct from Gradeup, we are going to discuss some very important issues that were very relevant insofar as 2019 and 2020 is concerned. So our vision for you students is this. We want to prepare you for that exam, which is one of the most sought after examination after class 12, that is CLAT and other law entrance examination. Now friends, while doing so, we want you to know what were the most important events, legal events. I'm talking about those important legal events that happened in 2019 and 2020, which is very crucial from the point of view of your examination. A very good afternoon to all of you and welcome to Gradeup. So these classes are designed for CLAT 2020 students. Today we are going to discuss the Supreme Court's decision on the Ram Janambhumi land dispute. Today we are going to discuss the Ram Janambhumi land dispute judgment that was rendered by the Honorable Supreme Court of India. So without wasting time, we move ahead with the class. Now, what is the date today? Today is the 10th of July. Today happens to be the last date for your application form for CLAT. So the CLAT registration process ends today. Very important and very crucial. Those of you who haven't registered yourself for CLAT examination, you have a couple of hours remaining to register yourself for this CLAT examination. I hope most of you have already registered. If in case there are a particular student or students who haven't registered yourself, today is the last date for registration. So CLAT registration process will end tonight at midnight. And secondly, another very important and crucial fact. Please select your exam center by today. Do lock your exam center by today. That is 10th of July 2020. The CLAT registration process ends today. Do lock the center in which you are going to sit for this computer-based test by today. The CLAT application deadline is today and the CLAT examination is scheduled on 22nd of August 2020. A very important reminder for all of you friends, a very important reminder for all of you. Okay, fantastic. So we start with today's class and start discussing today's class. Today we are going to discuss a landmark judgment of the Supreme Court of India. A landmark judgment of the Supreme Court of India called M. Siddiqui versus Mahant Suresh Das and another. So this is the Ram Janambhumi land dispute case. Okay. Now what some important facts of this case? This judgment, that is the Ayodhya verdict or the Babri Masjid demolition case or the Ram Janambhumi land dispute, whatever name you call it, in whatever name you say this judgment, the judgment in the Supreme Court is referred to as M. Siddiqui versus Mahant Suresh Das. This judgment was decided in the year 2019, that is November of 2019, and Chief Justice of India, Justice Ranjan Gogoi, the former Chief Justice of India, headed the bench. There was 5 judges who decided on this particular judgment. There were 5 judges who decided on this particular judgment. Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi, along with Justice S.A. Bobde, who happens to be the current Chief Justice of India, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Justice Ashok Bhushan, and Justice Abdul Nazir. So these were the 5 judges who decided on this Ayodhya land dispute case. Very, very important. So Justice Ranjan Gogoi, the then Chief Justice of India, headed this bench. As on today, former Justice Ranjan Gogoi is currently a member of the Rajya Sabha, is a nominated member of the Rajya Sabha. Justice Ranjan Gogoi, former Chief Justice of India, is a present member of the Rajya Sabha. Very, very important. Now, who are the parties to this case? Very, very important. The parties to this case were 3 parties. The Niromoi Akhadas, who said that they were the managers of this temple. The Niromoi Akhadas was one of the parties. The second party was the Uttar Pradesh Sunni Central Waqf Board. So the Sunni Waqf Board was the other party. This was the Muslim party were represented by the Sunni Waqf Board. And the third party, that the Hindu party, was the deity Ram Lala itself. So Ram Lala was represented by Deoki Nandan Agarwal. Deoki Nandan Agarwal represented Ram Lala. So there are 3 parties in this present dispute. One is the Niromoi Akhadas. They are the managers of the temple. They are something like the pujaris of the temple, the managers of the temple. Second party was the Uttar Pradesh Sunni Central Waqf Board. So the Sunni Waqf Board was that party which represented the Muslim community before the court. And Ram Lala Virajman was represented by Deoki Nandan Agarwal, a very, very important thing. So there were 3 parties in this present case, friends. Am I clear? There were 3 parties in this present case. Now, what are the facts of the case? What are the facts? Very, very important. I would request all of you to pay a lot of attention right now. Now, as per the Hindu belief, it is said that Lord Ram was born in Ayodhya. Lord Ram was born in Ayodhya, which is in the present day in Uttar Pradesh, in the state of Uttar Pradesh. So as per Hindu belief, it is said that Lord Ram was born in Ayodhya. Very, very important, which is present day in Uttar Pradesh. Very, very important. Secondly, now there apparently, it is according to the Hindu belief, it is said that an ancient temple stood at the birthplace on which Lord Ram was born. which was demolished in 1528 by Mughal Emperor Babur. So Babur destroyed this ancient temple and built a mosque in that place called the Babri Masjid, which was subsequently demolished by the Car Sevaks in 1992. Very, very important. Am I clear? This is a very, very important fact. According to the Hindu belief, originally there stood a temple at the birthplace of Lord Ram, which was subsequently demolished in 1528 by Mughal Emperor Babur, and he built the Babri Masjid, and which was subsequently demolished on December 6th, 1992 by the Hindu Car Sevaks. Now, the Hindu community, very, very important, the Hindu community claims that it is the birthplace of Lord Ram and the incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Now, Lord Ram is also called Lord Vishnu. He said that he is the incarnation of Lord Vishnu. The Muslim community claims that it is a site of the historic Babri Masjid, which was built by the first Mughal Emperor Babur. So Babur was the person who had built a mosque in this particular site. Hindu people claim that no, it was an old temple that was demolished and a mosque was created. So that is the facts. Now let's move on to the timeline. This is very, very important because this is such an important judgment that questions can or definitely can come in your CLAT 2020 examination. Now let's understand the timeline. 1528, Babri Masjid was constructed on the orders of Emperor Babur. Now, as per the Hindu belief, it was built after the demolition of a temple that was built on that spot where Lord Ram was born. 1859. The British administration had put a fence around the site since there were a lot of communal clashes. So, the rioting did not start post-independence. The rioting, insofar as the disputed site is concerned, started way back in the 17th century. Okay? In the 17th century. So, what happened was simply this. The British administration, the British Raj, had put a fence across the site to stop communal clashes between Hindus and Muslims. So, the site of the Babri Masjid was put under fence by the British administration. So, this is what happened in 1859. Now comes another very important date, 1949. Soon after independence, Hindu idols were placed inside the mosque. Both sides to the dispute filed civil cases. The government of India declared that area as a disputed land and had locked the gates and had handed over the keys of the gates to the district magistrate. Am I clear? In the year 1984, a movement to build Ram Janambhumi temple began. Now, Hindu groups formed a committee to construct a temple on this very disputed site. Hindu people gathered, formed committee, formed association to construct temple on this very disputed site. Very, very important. 1984. 1986, a very important order was passed by the district judge. Now, this area which was fenced, which was locked, and the keys was handed over to the district magistrate, an order later on in the year 1986 came to be passed by the district judge to open the gates of the mosque and allow Hindus to worship inside the structure. 1989, the Vishwa Hindu Parishad laid foundation of the temple on the land adjacent to the disputed structure, not inside the disputed structure, but at the land very close to the disputed structure. 1990, BJP President L.K. Advani took out a cross-country Rath Yatra to garner support for the move to build the Ram temple on the site. Very, very important. So here in 1990, L.K. Advani, the then BJP president, took out a Rath Yatra to garner support for building this Ram temple. In 1992, very, very important, the Babri Masjid was demolished by around 200,000 car sevaks, around 2 lakh car sevaks demolished this Babri Masjid as a part of a communal rioting that took place. The then Chief Minister Kalyan Singh took steps to support the movement and such as making entry into area easier, promising no firing on car sevaks, opposing decision of the central government to send CP, that is Central Police Force, in that area. Very, very important. So in 1992, on 6th of December, the Babri Masjid was demolished. Very, very important. Now, this matter did not directly come to the Supreme Court. This matter was initially heard by the Allahabad High Court. Now, what did the Allahabad High Court do? The Allahabad High Court had given its verdict in the year 2010 and divided this land, this disputed land, into 3 equal halves. The land was divided into 3 equal halves by the Allahabad High Court, and 1/3 was given to Niromoi Akhada, 1/3 was given to the Uttar Pradesh Sunni Waqf Board, and 1/3 of land was given to deity Ram Lala. So these were the 3 people who were fighting the litigation. So the Allahabad High Court, what it did was it divided the land into 3 equal parts and gave it to the 3 parties. Very, very important. Now the inner courtyard was given to the deity. The inner courtyard was given to Ram Lala. Ram Lala Virajman. The Ram Chabutra and the Sita Rasoi was handed over to the Akhadas, that is the Niromoi Akhadas. And the Muslim side was left to take with 1/3 of the land that was other than what was given to the Niromoi Akhada and the Ram Lala. So the Hindu people got 2/3 of the land and the Muslim people in total got 1/3 of the land. Deity is Ram Lala. Ram Lala is the deity. Okay. Am I clear? Ram Lala is the God himself. So the Niromoi Akhadas happens to be the managers of the temple. The Muslims were represented by the Waqf Board, Sunni Waqf Board, and the Hindus, another, was represented by God himself. So God himself was before the court. A very, very important thing. The deity, that is Ram Lala Virajman, was represented before the court. Okay. So the inner courtyard went to God, Lord Ram. Ram Chabutra and Sita Rasoi went to Niromoi Akhadas, and the rest part went to the Muslim side. Now here comes the most interesting and impressive facts. Now, how do you know? Because there was a lot of people who said that there was a temple. Some people said that no, there was no temple. So the Archaeological Survey of India investigated. The Archaeological Survey of India investigated, made a survey, and submitted its report stating that there was proof that was found of a massive structure below the demolished Babri Masjid. Now, it is time for me to tell you some important facts. Now, some of the pillars of the Babri Masjid had Hindu deities sculptured. So there were pillars which was of the Babri Masjid that had Lord Shiva's inscription, that had Lord Parvati's inscription, that had Lord Rama's inscription in those pillars. Now, Hindu people are saying that this description of the, now in a, I'll just tell you something. Now, a mosque is built in a different way. Okay, a temple is built in a different way. Now, some of the structures that was existing inside the Babri Masjid was like those Hindu temples. Now, what does it mean? It can mean that there could be some temple in the nearby locality that was demolished. Those pillars were taken for building this Babri Masjid, number one. Or number two, that there existed a temple there which was demolished, and those stones were used to build a mosque. Either of the two. So the Archaeological Survey of India, what it did was simply this. They said that there was a massive structure of a temple which was underneath the Babri Masjid. Am I clear? Am I clear, friends? Is that clear? Now, the survey furthermore claimed that the pillars that were existing inside the Babri Masjid had temple-like structure. Okay, these were the two things that the Archaeological Survey of India said. Now, what did the Supreme Court say? What did the Supreme Court say? Now, let us understand this. The Supreme Court of India simply said that Bhagwan Shri Raj Virajman, that is Lord Ram, is a deity and is a resident deity of Ram Janambhumi. Now, to understand this, you need to understand some more Hindu law. Now, what is a deity? A deity is not God. A deity is not God. He is a human-like structure of God. Like, for example, you have Jagannath temple in Puri. That is Lord Jagannath is a deity. Sabrimala temple, the sleeping Chaitanya inside the Sabrimala is a deity. Now, there is a difference between God and deity. The difference between God and deity is this. In God, now let's understand what is God. God does not have a structure, whether he is man or a woman, no one knows. But a deity is a human-like structure. Okay, like for example, Lord Ram. Okay, like for example, in Puri, you have Lord Jagannath. They are deities. So the Supreme Court said, that Lord Ram is a resident deity of Ram Janambhumi land. And in the present case, Bhagwan Sri Ram Virajman, who has been worshipped for several hundred years, has become a juristic person. Now, a juristic person is a person who can sue, who can be sued and all. Am I clear? Although we don't know, see, understand this, whether Ram existed or Ram did not exist, we don't have any idea. But the fact is that since a particular deity was worshipped, for several hundreds of years at a particular place, the Supreme Court said that this Sri Ram Virajman happens to be a juristic person. But Asthan Sri Ram Janambhumi, that is Ram Janambhumi, is not a juristic person. Lord Ram is the owner of the land, not Ram Janambhumi or the akhadas. A person who is managing, suppose there is a temple of Lord Krishna, and do you say that the pujaris of the temple becomes the owner of the land? No, the pujaris are just like the sabayats, like the managers of that temple. They do not become the owner of the land. Very, very important. Very, very important. Okay? Okay? Am I clear, friends? They are something like the caretaker of the land. They do not become the owner of the land. Now, what did the Allahabad High Court do? The Allahabad High Court divided the land between the Niromoi Akhada, the Uttar Pradesh Sunni Waqf Board, and Lord Sri Ram. Now, here comes Supreme Court, which says that the entire land, since a lord was worshipped for hundreds of years. Now, let me tell you this also. Well, I'll tell you this also. The Supreme Court of India was concerned with the fact that this dispute be resolved once and for all. Because based on this Ram Janambhumi dispute, so hundreds of people have been killed and will be killed in case there is no solution to this dispute. So the Supreme Court felt that, okay, we don't know whether Lord Ram was there, Lord Krishna was there, which Muslim god was there. Let us finally put an end to this dispute. Let us put an end to this dispute. So the Supreme Court, what it simply did was that the inner courtyard, the Supreme Court said there is evidence that it is a place of worship prior to 1857. Prior to 1857, the inner courtyard of the temple was under the Hindu worship. Secondly, it said, the Muslims did not offer any evidence that showed that they were in exclusive possession of the structure prior to 1857. This is what the Supreme Court said. Thirdly, the High Court, by way of a three-way bifurcation, was legally untenable. This is what the Supreme Court has said. I am not saying so. It is what the Supreme Court said. So the disputed area covers some 1500 square yards of land. A partition of the land will not serve either of the parties the need to make a temple or a mosque. If 1500 square yards is divided between three parties, each and every party will be getting 500 square yards. The problem is not solved. So what did the Supreme Court interestingly do? what did the Supreme Court interestingly do? The Supreme Court said that let us hand over this disputed area, let us hand over this disputed area to the Hindus and ask the government to allocate some land to the Muslims to build a mosque in a different place. So that, now what did the Supreme Court finally do? It said that you cannot have a temple and a mosque close by. Again, there will be rioting, there will be murders, there will be criminal activities based on this Hindu-Muslim dispute. So the Supreme Court, for once and for all, wanted to put an end or put a full stop to this dispute. And hence, what the Supreme Court did was, a lot of lawyers, a lot of judges do not agree to the Supreme Court. Might not agree to the Supreme Court, but Supreme Court felt that let us put an end to this dispute. Let us put an end to this hundreds and hundreds of year old land dispute between the Hindus and the Muslims. Am I clear? Now, since the Hindus were in the outer courtyard exclusively, and they continue to worship, it is not possible for the Sunni Waqf Board to hold property in that disputed land. Furthermore, very interestingly, the Supreme Court held that the mosque was demolished in a breach of law. That the mosque was demolished and that was illegal. That is what the Supreme Court held. That is precisely what the Supreme Court held, that the mosque which was demolished in the year 1992 by the Kar Sevaks was illegal. Finally, the Supreme Court held that the disputed land was given only to Sri Ram Virajman, that 1500 square yard. 1500 square yard, the entire land was given to Sri Ram Virajman. And secondly, the Supreme Court directed the state to grant the Sunni Waqf Board a land of 5 acre for the construction of a mosque. But that should be a little far away. Why? Because see, if you grant a Muslim people and Hindu people to the liberty to grant a mosque, to build a mosque or a temple, again there will be disputes. Again there will be dispute. To put an end to this dispute, the Supreme Court, I think, did not do as per the law, but went with this perspective that they wanted to put an end to this hundreds of year old dispute. Now, the central government, the Supreme Court further said that the central government within 3 months of the date of the judgment will formulate a board of trustees for the construction of the temple. The Supreme Court directed the central government to set up a board that is going to construct the Ram Janambhumi temple. Secondly, the Supreme Court further directed that the possession of the inner courtyard, outer courtyard shall be handed to the Board of Trustees immediately. And the possession of the disputed property shall continue to be vested with the central government. Very important. Am I clear, friends? Am I clear? Am I clear? Any doubt? Any doubt? Now, this is a very important judgment of the Supreme Court, friends. So do not take it, guys. Why are you guys talking amongst yourself? Am I clear? Now friends, now we have done, now I am going to discuss with you for the next 5 minutes something very important. So right now you are in a position where you know the Ram Janambhumi dispute. Now you might get questions. Relating to this Ram Janambhumi land dispute case. They might give you a passage. On this very judgment, and after that they might ask you some pertinent questions. So our thing is this from Gradeup is that you should be well aware of the very, very recent and the most important topic, like the Jammu and Kashmir issue, like the Ram Janambhumi issue, like the Sabrimala issue. These are burning topics that was there in 2019 and 2020, and probably these are the kind of questions that is going to come in your question paper. From these topics you might find questions. Okay, am I clear? Okay, am I clear? Yeah, in case you guys have any doubts, okay, now in case you guys have any doubts, you can ask me that question. Okay, Isha Sharma, I just said that the kind of question that can come is a passage based question. Passage based question can come in this kind of a, from this kind of a topic. They might give you a passage, they might give you a 450 word passage on the Ram Janambhumi dispute, and you have to answer them, okay, after reading. Okay, Trump impeachment is also important. Trump impeachment is also important. Impeachment of President Donald Trump is also very, very important. Yes, yes. For your CLAT 2020, you will only be getting passage-based question of legal reasoning. Okay, Babri Masjid was built by under the orders of the first Mughal emperor Babur. Okay, and it was called the Babri Masjid. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So with this friends, we come to the end of today's class. Okay. With this, we come to the end of today's class. Yes, Russia's change in the constitution is also important. The change of the constitution in Russia is also very, very important. Okay. Because the Russian Federation, the Vladimir Putin will be the president for another till 2036 or something like that. Okay. Okay. So with this, friends, we come to the end of today's class. With this, we come to the end of today's class. Yeah, in case you guys have any doubts, do let me know. Yeah, do let me know. No problem at all. Okay, we will definitely have some doubt classes. You can ask your doubts. No problem. We are having all these classes only for you, friends. Only for you. We are having all these classes. So don't worry. We will have a lot of doubt clarification classes. Now, most of the doubt clarification classes that we are going to have will be happening in our app and not in the YouTube channel. Those of you who are listening to me on YouTube, let me tell you this, that the doubt clarification classes will happen only in our Gradeup application. You can download the Gradeup app and see. Because in YouTube, it is very difficult to have a doubt clarification classes because there will be a lot of interaction, okay? So for that reason, we are planning to have doubt classes only on the application itself, okay? Okay? So only in the app, Gradeup app, we are going to have the doubt clarification classes, okay? Thank you very, very much. Thank you very, very much. God bless you. Stay home, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you very, very much.